All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk about a pretty simple idea, but one with a huge impact: how to design digital products that don't just work, but work beautifully for absolutely everyone. First up, just for a second, think about your favorite website or app. What makes it so good? Is it super intuitive? Is it fast? Does it just kind of feel easy to use? Yeah, hold on to that feeling. Now, let's flip that. Think about a time you wanted to just throw your phone across the room because a website was confusing or an app was just impossible to navigate. That feeling of frustration, that's exactly what we're here to talk about solving. Because here's the deal: that good or bad experience isn't the same for everybody. It can completely change depending on the device you're on, what time of day it is, maybe you're not feeling well, or if you're one of the millions of people who uses technology in a different way. And this brings us right to the core challenge, really, for anyone who builds things online. How in the world do you design for the countless ways people will interact with what you create? Well, the answer isn't some magic bullet. It's actually a powerful shift in how we think. It's all about adopting an inclusive design mindset. So, inclusive design is really a philosophy. It's about putting people, actual humans, first. It's recognizing that all of our abilities are super diverse and they can even change over time. It beautifully combines inclusivity, usability, and accessibility all into one approach. Now, this is a really important distinction. You've probably heard of universal design, right? That's the one that tries to create a single one-size-fits-all solution. Inclusive design, though, it does something different. It starts by solving a problem for one specific person, and then it extends that solution so it ends up helping tons of other people. This whole idea is guided by some really smart core principles. There are 7 in total, but let's just touch on a couple. Provide comparable experience. That just means everyone should get the same value, even if they get to it in a different way. And give control. This one's huge. It's about letting people use your product on their own terms with whatever methods work best for them. So if that mindset is the what, then let's get to the who. How do we actually keep real people at the center of all this work? Well, the answer is by building what we call empathetic personas. But before we even dive in, this quote from Merrill Evans is it's crucial. It's a powerful reminder that disabilities aren't these big, uniform things. We have to design for individuals, not for some broad, generic category. Okay, let's make this totally real. I want you to meet Jane Bennett. She's a 57-year-old engineer who has a hand tremor from young onset Parkinson's. Now, look at our goals. She wants to use minimal keystrokes, she relies on speech to text, and her frustrations, websites that she can't navigate with her keyboard. See, this isn't just a demographic. This is a real person with specific needs and challenges that we can actually design for. Hey, a quick but really important side note here. It might seem like a good idea, but you have to be super cautious with things called disability simulators. A lot of advocates actually advise against them. You know what's a much better approach? Actively listen to and learn from the content that people with disabilities are creating themselves. All right, so we have our mindset, we have our personas. Now we need a practical, hands-on tool to check our own work. And that's where an accessibility heuristics checklist comes into play. And why is this so important? We'll get this. A staggering 67% of accessibility bugs can be prevented right in the design phase. I mean, just think about that for a second. That's 2/3 of the problem solved before a single line of code is even written. It saves time, it saves money, and you just build a better product from the get-go. These 10 heuristics, they're kind of like a report card for your design. They cover everything from navigation and wayfinding, can people easily figure out where they are, to error prevention and states. Basically, does the design help people avoid mistakes, and does it clearly explain how to fix them? It's a systematic way to catch those issues early on. Okay, let's move on to the final piece of this puzzle. You've created a beautiful, inclusive design. That's awesome. But how do you make sure it actually gets built that way? This is all about the handoff from the design to the code. And the key tool here is something called accessibility annotations. Really, they're just notes on your design mockups that explain all the critical accessibility information to your development team. They're like a bridge that makes sure your inclusive vision becomes a functional reality. So what exactly are you annotating? Things like the contrast ratios for your colors, the intended keyboard tab order for getting around the page, and what the alt text should say for important images. You're not leaving any of these critical details up to chance. And this quote from Mark Riccobono, the president of the National Federation of the Blind, it just brings us right back to why all this matters so much. This work we're doing isn't just about technical stuff, it's about breaking down barriers that were built from misunderstanding and low expectations.
So, as we wrap this up, the real question isn't just about compliance or ticking boxes on a checklist. It's really a challenge to you. In your very next project, how are you going to use these tools, this mindset, to intentionally add value for every single person who uses what you create?